Welcome to Vazzing with Stu, Game of the Month, Tactical Tuesday, Ad Hoc at Chef DuPont. We finish the last two games. We look up specific things in those particular games. Order of movement in your units to maximize their effectiveness so everyone doesn't break. Routing. I know you're sick of it, but you need to get good at it. As soon as you get good at it, I'll stop covering it. Okay? Rout with intent, route to victory, route for the motherland. All right? So let's get to it. If you like to go on and support the channel even more other than leaving your comments below, thumbing the video, and sharing it with your buddies, then do so please. Share it on any media source you want. I have no problem with that. Then the more the merrier, and the more material can come out. But you can look down here below at the PayPal address if you don't want to become a Patreon for like, hey, that was a cool episode, Stu. Here's 50 cents. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Anything that doesn't really matter. Just support the channel. And Patreon as well. If you want to support it over a long period of time, you can become a Patreon member. I'm adding some ASL material to that. Maybe some SK material as well, only for the patrons. But primarily, it's going to be more rules focused on the ASL side at this moment right now in time. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's learn to route. Let's learn to win. We'll see you at the end. Wow, I blink and 12 people show up.
5:30.
This will be an interesting one. This will go over concepts that we covered before in 2 weeks ago in our general discussion of route paths and target selection. I just kind of skimmed through it really quickly. And then also route direction and what you want to do with your routes. When you move, what happens when you move? You get shot at, right? Right? You get shot at. You can't control the dice. You can't control what the dice results are, but you get shot at. But you have control of your movement. What you have, the results of you moving in the movement phase is not under your control. You move, you take chances, so on and so forth. The route phase is cut and dry. There are strict rules in the route phase that you have to abide by. No one's shooting at you until you're being interdicted. Sometimes you can avoid interdiction. How do we avoid interdiction? By either A, choosing a better spot, quote, to break at, you know, or like not routing or making sure that it's covered or breaking the other guy so we don't have to route or we can route in open ground. Routing is honestly 100% in your control. Movement isn't. If that concept makes it, you know where you guys can move to, but you don't know whether they can make it there or not. Routing, you can determine whether or not you can make it back to your leader, back to a spot, or whatever. If you put your guys in a shit position, you will die. You will pay the consequences. That is your choice of when you're moving that. You don't know if you're going to break or not, but to mitigate that, and what we were talking about with John earlier, to mitigate bad shit happening to you, you must control the route phase because you will need to rally that guy later. And most units, you know, you got a 7 morale unit with a -1 guy. That's what, a 9 if he's not DM'd. If your dice are bad and you're rolling 9s, you're rallying the unit, so he's coming back. I don't care how bad your dice are. Only if you're rolling 10s all the time. At that point, you just delete the Vazzle dice bot and go to your dice. I mean, that's all there's to it. So 9s are rallying 7 morale units that are broken but are not DM with -1 leaders. 8s will rally them with 0 leaders. So everyone's got 0 leaders. So keeping that in mind, I can't, you know, I honestly never thought I'd reach this conclusion, but you can't hammer that home hard enough. Is you routing, just routing, and there's again, I didn't have a chance for reviews, but let's take a look at that and other things. So the game starts here. I think it's Cesar and Craig. So we're gonna fire this through on his setup. Now look at the setup here on the left-hand side. What do we have in the forest?
Well, you've got a couple units, one in particular, which is going to stop you from coming down the A row.
Right. What's specific about those units which differs between the other units that are in the city? What's the
No,
difference
short
between
range.
Second line.
Yep, second line. Do they need range in the forest?
Not really.
They don't need a range. They're firing point blank 1-2 hexes. So 4-4-7s, kind of where you want to put them. 4-2-6s, you want to put them in the same spot. You want the 4-2-6s to fire point blank. You don't want 4-2-6s up here necessarily. Oh, I hope I didn't screw that up. You don't want 4-2-6s here because that's going to be long range. You got 4-6-7s. That obviously that's in 4 range. That's in 4 range. Yeah. But let's say something screwy happens. This 4-6-7 can move to here and then fire long range over here in case something stupid happens. Maybe the American only wants an assault move on. I don't know. We don't know. Plus, it also gives these units here time to fire. I mean, if he moves into M4, he could fire the entire way over to Y4. That's what, 12 hexes? 10? I don't even know how long. He could honestly support fire on the right-hand side of the screen. The 4-4-7s can't do that. And I want to jump back to Mark's game at the end of this. Mark, remind me to say, hey, Stu, click back to the game and tell me about what the 7-0 can do, even though he's pinned, all right?
All right.
It'll take 2 minutes, and it's something that you guys, that I want you guys to be able to see. It's difficult to see because the range is involved, but it has to do with, guess what, guys? Routing. And so you'll see what happens with that. Even though you got, we'll go to it when we get there. So I like the 4-4-7s over there. The range is good. I mean, he's maximizing the units over there. 4-6-7's good. 8-1. I would honestly like to see the 8-1 on one of those units. In my opinion, because he can give him a -1. Like if this guy happens to break, then he can route to the 8-1. If this guy breaks, if the 8-1's here, then he just moves out or moves down. Actually, he'd have to move this way, but the 8-1 can reach him at that point. The Americans aren't going to be on top of him by that time. He'll rally just to have the potential of having that 8-1 come up and to reduce the 16% chance that you'll cower. And that's all. And so an 8-0 there. I mean, even 8-0, I had to movement capabilities too. Let's say something wonky happens, but if the idea is to move down, I don't know. I don't know, but that's what -1 leaders aren't too bad for that. The same thing over here. The same reason why we have -1 leader on the medium is to maintain more shots and things like that. Again, here's another one. 4-4-7 the wheat field. I like it. Slows the Americans down by just moving in there for free. Is he kind of vulnerable? Sure, but I think he's there for first strike capabilities. Like I said, I don't know if this is Craig's game or Craig's side or Cesar's side. And the 4-6-7s over here, don't mind that because guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, he still has full range up to here. Of course, that's one. He's got 4 to here, but there's at least 4 there and 4 there in case the Americans just wants to jump on. But pay attention to the right-hand side. I don't mind the 8-0 here. Breaks, routes back here. You better rally or move the 8-0 out of there. So the right-hand side is going to be pretty important over here. Let's see. Infantry fire. Okay. You see what happens here? Right-hand side. Looks like Craig fires, right? Craig fires on the initial unit, and he takes a... He takes a morale check. He's CXing. First fire support weapon. Next unit fires. Guess what? Boom. Fire again. 6. Morale check. He happens to pin. So we have 2 pins. Now watch what happens next. Now the 8-0 comes on. What can the 4-6-7 do? What's he gonna do? God damn it.
Well.
He didn't fire. I'm not sure if he fired or not, but because he can't fire on this guy over here. But regardless, we'll get to that in a second. So the 10-2 7-4-7s bust ass down to the 8-0. The 8-0 probably just shit his pants because there's nothing he can do about that. He's going to be disintegrating. But take a look. So on the right-hand side, tell me about the right-hand side over here. What else, other than routing, what am I starting to focus on? Let me zoom in a little bit more. What am I starting to focus on?
Well, I mean, I suppose there's one thing that I would say is that I'm not sure that's even a legal setup.
What do you mean? For the Germans or the Americans?
Right now you have 4 squads in that one hex off fort. Is that even allowed by the rules?
Over here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about the right side. Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with that. He might split his units up a little bit because he hasn't started moving those. But I'm focused. We'll come back to that. Yeah. Focus on the right side. So look at the right side. Tell me something odd about the right side. And we've discussed this a little bit. We discussed it last week and the week before, and I'm trying to hark on it a little bit more. And this is terms of, again, minimizing. When you're having a shit day, the way to maximize your effectiveness is to do this particular thing. What did the American player do on this side, which pinned both of his units? Excuse me. What happened? Is there a way to avoid those guys pinning? You can say yes or no. I mean, I don't care what you say, guys. I don't care what you guys say. Say no, you can't avoid it. Yes, you can avoid it. And why?
Well, I mean, all right. So we're talking about the two American units.
Yeah, these guys got pinned. They got hosed. CX pinned, and then the 8-0 comes on. Could we avoid those pins? Yes or no?
Okay. Well, I mean, the question is what did he consider to be more important? I mean, if the 8-0 comes on first, then fine. The German player, the German player fires on the 8-0, then he's going to take a lot of fire. But as long as he's not KIA'd, he's now stopping any subsequent first fire.
Correct. Order of movement.
Mm-hmm.
Order of movement. Honestly, I wouldn't put the 8-0 over here, but that's his choice. I don't care. Doesn't really matter because I don't know if the purpose of these units. Okay, again, if Cesar was here, he'd be able to explain it. If the purpose of the top units, or whoever the American player is, maybe Craig, if the purpose of the top units is to draw his fire so he's first fired or final fired, and then this guy comes on, I don't have a problem with that. But if the point is to get units close to this guy to draw as much firepower to him, do it the other way around. That's why I'm saying it's not right, it's not wrong, it's depending on what you want to do. Did he draw first fire from this guy so this guy could blow down here? Yes, that's succeeded. If that was his plan, it worked. Worked really well. Okay? But these guys, you could have done it the same way by moving him on. Most likely he's going to take that shot. Are you going to die with a 12 even shot? Is that guy...
Well, 12 even is at least, I mean, there's a potential, but not much of one.
Is 5% chance a real chance of dying?
Yeah, I mean, there's a 1 KA, but even if you then the other unit's just broken, so you've stopped subsequent first fire.
Right.
A K/3. I mean, K/3 might, but then you've still got a half squad that's still there, or whatever. Yeah, I mean, you're probably still going to have somebody there in that hex. They're not going to be happy, but
a K3 is an 8.3% chance of getting a K result on him. Snake Eyes, KIA is going to be a 2% chance.
Right.
Who cares? 2% chance. If you go to a Vegas table and your odds are 91.2% chance of winning,
yeah,
are you going to take that bet? You're going to bet your house on it. You're just going to bet your house on it. And so that's what we're looking at here. He's almost at no risk of dying. Is he at risk of breaking? Yes, of course. Do we care? No. Why? Because we low crawl backwards. We low crawl backwards. This is SK. We low crawl backwards. These units then, this guy is either first fired with 12 firepower. Now, can he hold his firepower if that guy moves on? Yeah, absolutely. And when these guys move on, at least he gets one shot, maybe a 6 shot, maybe a 2-4 shot, but then the LMG, and that's one thing you might want to do. You might want to be kind of tricky with that. Let's say he just first fires on one of those units that moves on after the 747 moves here. So he first fires 4-2, pins the guy, the other guy moves forward. I don't know how far he would move. Let's just say he just whatever. But in the advanced fire phase, how much firepower does he have now against these units on the left-hand side? He's got 8 firepower, right? He's going to double his LMG.
Right.
And he's going to have 4 firepower there. So at least he has 8 firepower plus 1. Not bad. But if the Americans, if essentially order of movement. If the point was to get the 8-0 here with as minimal firepower brought to him as possible, this is one way to do it. All right, but risking 2 guys at a -2, a 4 -2 will yield a KIA on a dice roll of 3. All right, looking at your percentages, a dice roll of 3 is going to be, well, 8.3, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, 3. Yeah. So it's a -2 for that one. So it's an 8% chance that him going to die straight off versus just a K on a 12 even. Okay, so the -2s, you want to avoid the minuses at all, if you can, at all possibilities. Because the minuses are where you're going to have the low rolls make a stronger impact. That's why when I say, you know, an 8, a 12 -1, or like an 8 +1, you know, is the same as like a 6 chart. Well, not exactly, because if you roll low enough, you're gonna have, there's gonna be 1 or 2 of those results is gonna be slightly different. Like you're gonna have to roll 2 morale check versus a 1 morale check. It's a very slight difference. So order of movement may have prevented these units from being pinned. Is that an issue here? Probably not, but you essentially got 1 hex of movement in a 6-turn game. All right, so let's take our situation here again. When the 8-0 and 7-4-7 moves on as the 3rd move, these units are already pinned, and of course the unit's first fired, and which allows the 10 -2 to move as he pleases. That's all fine and dandy. But if we back up, move these units back off the board, move this, I'm not sure why they didn't move. And instead of moving the 8-0 and 7-4-7 3rd, what do we do here? If we move him first, let's say we assault move him. You can assault move in this position, okay? The 8-0 doesn't necessarily need to even move. I wouldn't even bother moving the 8-0 on. The 8-0 has no impact whatsoever. Well, actually does. In this case, you could assault move with the 8-0 leader. This will tell you why. If this unit does not wish to fire upon the 7-4-7 and 8-0, which is a 12 +1, because they're assault moving. They're spending 2 movement factors, assault moving in there, and that's fine. 12 +1 there. Does the defender want to take the shot? Maybe, maybe not. Let's say he doesn't want to take the shot and wants to shoot at the other units that are slated to come on. Okay? So they're slated to come on. The unit assault moves here, rolls a die. Hopefully we'll get it. Nope. 50-50 shot. Let's say we get something positive. Anyway, he tries to drop smoke. Let's say he gets a smoke. A 50% chance of dropping smoke on that unit. Pretty good chance. If he doesn't fire on him, he gets a smoke placed on him. Right? And if it fails, it does the same thing for the purpose of this. Now, your 7-4-7s can come on, counter-exhausting like they wanted to. 2, 3. Hell, you can move adjacent to him at that point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is probably what he wanted to do. All right? At that point, the 4, 6, 7 now fires outside of the smoke. If you should happen to get the smoke in a die roll of 1 through 3, then he will have a +2 modifier on these other units. It's going to be +3 for the smoke, +2, +1 because you're in it, -1 for non-assault movement. So all those units moving beyond the first 7-4-7 are going to be +2 shots. Yes, it's going to be a 12 +2. And guess what? How much residual will you leave in that instance? In your smoke? 12 firepower, all residual is reduced by hindrances that generate outside the target hex. The 4.67 LMG is outside the target hex. It is a +3 modifier. So half of 12 is 6. You reduce that by 3, so it goes 4, 2, 1. Your residual firepower from 12 firepower is 1 in that instance. That's what we're looking at when you do the order of movement of the 7-4-7 and 8-0 first. Move there, drop smoke, and then continue with your other movements. That's what we're looking at. Thanks a lot. That might prove problematic. It just might. It may not. But you've got your 10-2 behind this guy. This guy's pretty much hosed, and the 8-0 is going to be dead, you know, for the most part. So I just wanted to kind of focus on that in terms of order of movement, depending on what you want to do with your units. If you wanted these guys to get up here to pressure him, then move the 747 first. Have him take the shot. And leave your 8-0 with these guys. Because this guy, you know, if this guy breaks in your advanced fire, guess what? He can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and route to your 8-0 that you moved on the board. Instead of both of these guys breaking, now you're just screwed. Now you're probably just going to low crawl, and it's going to reduce your routing capabilities or rally capabilities. So take a look at that. If you kind of don't understand that, walk through it. Move your 747 on first. Keep your 8-0 up top, and then fire like the Germans fired. Take your point blank shot. Maybe keep your LMG, right? Keep your LMG, and then fire on one guy coming on. You know, because he's set up here. Obviously, he looks like he's going to come on. You know, I'll try and take a 2-2 shot. I don't have a problem with that. You know, so but also, again, it all depends on what the American player wants to have done there. He obviously got what he wanted done because the 10-2's in a very good position here. All right, let's take a look on the other side now. I think he's gonna be moving units over here. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure with his off-board movement, Craig or Mark.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, I know that.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So he busts ass. First unit flies up there. And he just. I'm not sure he breaks. 9-2 comes up. So that's very aggressive. Don't have a problem with aggressiveness because he's got more units. He's got, Jesus Christ, this thing's blipping up on me. He's got more units supporting them there. Now, again, depending on what his plan is there a fancier spot? You have 1, 2 squads that are still viable. Would there be a more aggressive spot to put that C3 unit? Because he charged this guy with 2 squads, right?
At least 2.
This is major aggression here, and so for me, if I'm going to,
there's 3 squads. Yeah, the 3 squads there.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking if I hold the major aggression, yeah, F3, because and what does that give you? If he fires, what does that give you?
Oh, fire possibility.
Yeah, it's a free morale check. It's a free morale check.
Yeah.
So even if you break, you got a free morale check out of the guy. And if you break, he's probably going to have to roll. Let's say he rolls a 7. He gets pinned. Guess what? Close combat. You could probably take the CX unit into close combat because the pin's pretty much going to negate the CX in terms of, you know, firepower versus ratios and all that bullshit. So, this is more aggressive. Whether he's doing it over here to protect his route pass because one guy broke, I have no problem with that. You know, this guy's going to have to route here. This guy could react to it and kill him. I could see this being a viable move, considering he still has 12 units here and this guy can't do shit. So, not really concerned about that, but you're just taking that unit into consideration, especially if the 9-2 is going to route with him. Then you may have to move the 747 later to protect him, and you might not want to do that. So I don't have a problem with that, but I'm hoping that's what the case might be. That's what I would do. I would protect the routing units. Remember, broken units, if you could protect them, it's okay for them to break. It's 100% okay for them to break. And it looks like he's protecting them right there. 100% on board with that. We got final fire over here with Craig because he kept his first fire. Shoots at these guys. Okay, rolls a good 4. Very good result. The leader rolls a 2. Squad rolls a 10. Very good. Very good fire discipline over here. So he didn't final protective fire here. Actually, if he final fired there, because the leader hadn't moved yet. This guy hadn't moved yet here.
Right.
The only difference that shot makes is the -1 non-assault movement when you're going to woods, because then he would be final fired. That would have been a 6+ or 6 even instead of a 6+1. But no big deal. You never know where that 10-2 is going. If the 10-2 slips in behind you, then you definitely want to. Well, you're any units surround you here, you're probably in final protective fire zone anyway. Here we go. Route phase. This unit moves here on the left-hand side. This unit breaks here. Where would you want to route that unit? I mean, there's a lot of places where you can route that unit. You don't have to route him. But where else could you route that unit? Where would you guys look about routing that unit? What direction is the American going in this scenario?
Well, he's going south and east.
All right. So he's going to go that direction anyway, right?
Yeah.
And again, this is 100%. This choice is 100% in your power. If he routes this direction, is that advantageous to the German, or disadvantageous to the German, or neutral? Any answers are fine. It's a discussion. Is this good for the German, bad for the German, or indifferent?
It's advantageous for the German because it's concentrating his firepower and it's between where the Americans are and where he needs to go.
Whose turn is it next turn?
Well, it's the American turn. He's not going to be able to rally, but I also not sure I would want. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Remember the direction the Americans are going. The Americans are going to go down that way. The Americans are either going to go into the city, or they're going to go down, like we've all seen in all the other scenarios, right? Mostly all the other games that we've seen, the Americans are going down, zipping along the line. I mean, are we going to go through the city? No, that's where he set up his defense. We're going to avoid that. So the Americans are most likely going to go down this direction. If you move in this direction, are you going to rally? You don't have a leader, so you're not going to rally, right?
Yeah, you're going to rally, right.
So you have to go through next player turn. He'll lose the DM. And then if you don't get moved adjacent to in your player turn, you'll need to roll a 5. Anyway, and that's another thing to consider, is you'll need to roll a 5 to self-rally. If we routed, let's say, not that it's a great spot, let's say we just routed to the stone building. Actually, I would probably route back here because these guys up here most likely will take the road because it's quicker to get through there, right? Either route back here or route back over here off of the road because you get DM'd when he's running by, when he's CXing by, and he's most likely going to CX by, because this 7-0 will rally that unit with a 9, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then he'll be right here. He should be right here at the end of the turn. So he's going to DM any unit in here that's going to, if you're over here, let's say he stops there and starts to dick with you, right? What does that give you? I'm gonna copy an American unit because I don't want to move them, because sometimes when you move them, it gets screwed up. We're just gonna do a half squad. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and I'm gonna clone this guy. So we route over here. Is that the best position for the Germans? Let's check it out. These units go down here. 2, 4, 5, and then let's go. If he stays with the leader, if he doesn't stay with the leader, he goes 2, 4, 5, 6 right there, right? He could shoot at him or whatever. He wants to shoot at him, then he's going to route again away from him, right? But let's say he just does something like this, or stays there and shoots at him, or does this sort of thing. The other units, if they were, since he's over here, he is going to CX here, and he's going to probably advance here or advance here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes. That's pretty much a turn's movement. So if the broken unit pulls here and the American drags here, even if he stops here and then advances here, that's still 2 more hexes. And we've seen before, every hex counts in the game. If you could pull him, he's not doing anything else. He's not going to rally. In this situation, he's not going to rally, right? Leader's not coming up to fix this unit. He's a conscript. He's gone. This guy is just going to block, and he's just gone. So if you happen to pull a squad on this side, or the leader, then you're essentially, quote, slowing down the enemy. And so he'll be further away from his objective. Pulling him away from the objective gives this unit value. If the unit stays here and we move forward, he's either A, going to be surrounded, or B, just kind of assault firepower, and you're just going to CR'd and the whole night. He's going to die anyway. But if he sits back here, and let's say he ignores him, he just continues down here, right? He ignores him, and maybe he rallies 2 turns later. American's probably going to be over here in 2 turns. He shows up. Now he CX's back behind here. The Americans are usually bogged down here, right? We go one assault, advance, the whole 9 yards, right? Now let's say we bring this 4-3-6, right? Remember the 2-2-7 in the other example, right? This guy's worthless. This guy goes over here. Let's say the entourage goes over here. One or two of these guys break, and this guy makes it here. That's CX. He follows them here or here. Where's he going to route when you got Germans in R7? Where's he going to go? He's got one spot. He's got down here, and that's it. Is this unit ever going to rally again? Now you've got a conscript firing on him. You know, whatever. He's going to keep everybody that's broken DM'd for the rest of the game. Unless these Americans turn their back on these guys and deal with him. You know, 6 morale, pretty easy to do, but he could slink over here, do long range fire, kind of stay away from some of the Americans, which I'd hope you want to do. And just his whole job is now to DM and screw route paths. Change his function to defense to route path screw. That's something I'll be looking down the line on that one.
That's my phrase of the day: route path screw.
Yeah, there you go. So he had a really good rally roll, excellent roll on that one. So he's up. I'm sure he was gripping at that point. Again, we DM the unit over here. He's not stopping the Americans, and now he just dies. And now he's just dead. So now there's no possibility of him cutting any route paths. His value was gone, especially if he's a 5 morale. I don't care what morale unit. If he can reach you at that point, you are not safe. Remember we were talking about being safe over here? The 747 breaking here, low crawling here. Is he safe? Yeah, pretty much. You got 747s and a 10-2 is going to blast this guy. The 747 over here that broke, was he safe? Sure. He moved his 7-0 and 747 to cover him. That was a safe unit. He protected that broken unit. There's no protection for this guy. And so moving at the path where the bad guys are going to be coming, you're just going to be steamrolled. And this is exactly what you see here, is just being steamrolled. This is another opportunity, Mark, of where you have bad things happen, right? Bad things happen. You know, maybe you got snakes or whatever. You roll at 11. You don't do you? If you're rolling 10s and 11s, can this 4-3-6 still DM units and cut route paths?
Well, you can certainly do that. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you roll for that.
Doesn't matter what you roll. It doesn't matter what the dice are. You just removed the luck factor out of the game. You've just thrown that away. You're in 100% control of what's going on with this unit. Is he going to be killing guys? If he's cutting route paths, he very well might be. He very well might be, and he won't even have to roll dice to do that. So you could do that. And that's one thing you could think about. If you play this game without the balance, I think the 9-2 is the only leader on the left-hand side. If you kill him, you could ignore that side for the most part. And then at that point, you just focus on the other 2 units. You only have really 3 key points to win the game. Break the leaders, you win the game. You don't have to care about the squads. All squads can get off the board. If you break the leaders, they can't get off, you win the game. So don't go toe-to-toe with the Americans. You're not winning. 4-4-7s versus 7-4-7s, you're not winning that fight. So German rally phase. Unfortunately, that guy doesn't rally. He gets DM'd. And then, now look at this unit here. What problem are you seeing in this? He moves here. What problems are we looking at? That's pretty bad. Because he has to route. The unit R8 has to route when this unit moves adjacent. Therefore, you're either giving up on this unit, and he's going to lose in close combat. You must obliterate this unit either here or here.
Yeah.
The leader can do the same thing. The leader can still follow up, probably CX at the same location. But you got to blow somebody up. If you blow them up here, leave residual, the leader's got to go through the wheat field. Might not be able to make it. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, 7.5. He can't even make it. So if you blow them up here, you leave residual. Most likely, you know, even just the LMG. 6 minus 2. He's got to break. This guy just did he move? No, he didn't move there. He can only go 4 because he's already CX'd. And the guys on the bottom most likely aren't going to come up to there because they got to get off. So those guys, and there's some more residual he would have popped through, and that's the 7-0. Look at that. So those guys are really screwed. And of course these guys are just going to. You got to take that shot. I'm not sure why, because the Americans couldn't make it off. So there's no point in saving the shot for Q10 because nobody's going to Q10. I'm not sure why that shot wasn't taken. I would love to know.
Yeah.
Why that shot wasn't taken, because that's 100% death over here. Just like we covered 2 weeks ago, gentlemen, with the 7-0 getting behind you. That's exactly the same situation. You have to take the shot. Maybe you take the shot here with the LMG and you sustain fire here. Now you have 2 hexes of residual firepower.
Well, or the LMG squad and then sustain. Now you can cover 3.
Right. And so you can cover lots of hexes because these guys are. This guy already CX'd. He prep fired, and that's all he got. He can't get close enough. He is the only unit that can kill that unit. Even the 7-0 here, you still route back. You just go. You're fine to route. And then guess what? It's going to be your turn. Next turn, you could possibly rally that unit, and you could take the 9-1 with him. But here,
well, at that moment you'd be interdicted in R6.
Yeah, but that's just what you have to do at that point. Better than die.
You can lose your leader if you interdict, if you route with him and fail your interdiction check, your leader's lost.
If you don't protect this unit from the 3-3-7, you're losing them both.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, yeah, no.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, yeah. You should make a right comment. Yeah. So, but guess what? 9-1 gets to add to the interdiction die roll.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So an 8, a 7, he's going. He's making it 7. Boom, 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 boom. You fail it, he's dead, but he needs an 8 for a pin. And who cares if he's in the open ground? You know, he might take an advanced fire. He can't take an advanced fire shot. It's just 1 less to rally. You could still rally him on a 4. He still rallies on a 4. That's not horrible. That's your best chance.
Yep.
That's your best and only chance. At that point, then you just advance phase over here.
Yeah, as I said, I don't know why Craig didn't fire that.
I really don't know why.
Yeah,
I have no clue.
Been really afraid of something else, but I don't know what it would have been.
Yeah, I have no clue. These guys were 1, 3. That's 6, 7, 8. Maybe that's what he was worried about. But he had already moved a squad off, right? So this unit, the 1 in V8, the leader can get off. The leader can go 3, 6, 7, 8, even if he's first fired, and then advance off. Do we care about that?
Maybe that's why he didn't fire. Yeah.
Yeah, but do we care about that? What did he move off?
Well, yeah, but yeah, he definitely moved off to half squad. So now, but right. So the American does have the leader off. He's got 1 squad, and he's got 2 turns to get. He's got 1 more turn, I guess, to get off 1 more squad.
So he gets the leader off. The squad doesn't matter because you already moved a squad off. And so this guy can't make it.
It matters in the sense that that now you have to get 2 squads off. You've got at least 1 off now.
Right. Yeah. But next turn, then you could fire. That's where you have to kind of wait for that. Is he in dire straits? Yeah, he was in dire straits. But these, it's just dire straits. But you could still, try and take the shot. The only thing you can do is take those shots.
Yeah.
The only thing you do is
told me to remind you.
Real quick in your game. Okay, we're going to close this game real quick. It won't take but 2 seconds.
Okay.
Let's go to Mark and Craig's game. And this has exactly to do with what I was talking about right here. A unit that he's either got pinned down or you've had shit luck with, or at times you're just kind of done with the unit. So go ahead and sync with me. Take a look at the map and tell me what the value of the 7-0 is, even though he hasn't done shit on this map, gentlemen. Tell me what value that he has based on our discussion on the other game. If you have something like this, it doesn't have to be exactly. This is kind of over exaggerating. Let's say you got 2 squads broken, and they're whatever. Let's say you have something like this. Tell me what's going to happen. Tell me how that 7-0 can impact this side over here.
Well, I mean,
keep your eyes out for it, gentlemen. How can he first of all, can he impact it? Yes or no?
Well, we have to assume yes, otherwise you probably wouldn't be showing us this.
Right. He can impact it.
Yeah.
How can he impact it? Is he in range?
Well, 7-0 doesn't even have any firepower. So
No, either 747. 747, 7-0, broken unit. Let's say they're broken. I don't care. Can he impact the side? The answer is yes. How?
The units in W6 break, he can affect their routing.
Correct. Where can they route to in W6?
we can't route to V6.
You can't go to V6. Where are these guys going when this 12 plus 3 shot breaks them?
They're probably, well, they have to.
What's their destination? If they have one.
If they have one. Well, they don't have V6, and they don't have U6, and they don't have U3.
Right.
So chances are they can't get down into the forest.
Where are they going to route?
They can't go to Z7 and they can't go to Z8. Because that's getting closer to 10-2. So maybe Z9?
Z9. Oh, you probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take a beep ton of interdiction rolls, but that might be your closest. That might be your closest hex at that point. I don't think you can go to Z8 because the 10-2 is 4 hexes away from the starting, and that would be 3.
All right, let's discuss this. 2 seconds. Can you go to Z7?
No.
Can you go to Z8?
No.
Why?
Because you are moving closer to the 10-2 leader.
Yes. Can you go to Z9? He can reach it.
He can reach it, but he can ignore it.
Ignore it. Big. Yeah, there you go. Boom. He can ignore it, even though he can reach it. No, no, no. He can only go south. Technically, he can go north.
He could. Yeah, he could go north.
He can go to W1, take like 15 interdiction rolls.
Yeah, I'm not sure
that would be interesting. He's most likely going to try and go down here.
Yeah, he doesn't have a legal target, right?
Right. He doesn't have illegal, so he can go kind of anywhere he wants to.
He can go wherever he wants without getting closer to someone.
Right. And so most likely he's probably going to try and run the hell of a be 1, 4, 5.5, and so he's done there. He might be able to actually go to W9 because that might be the same distance. You know, that's when you start doing the 12 hex range. He can go 12 hex, so he can hit here. Well, once he goes here, talk to me about this location. What do you see? What does he see when he must? Well, he does. First of all, he doesn't have to route. But let's say you're going to route.
Correct. Right. Yeah.
So he routes here. What are his choices from this point?
Oh, from that point, he's got a few choices because now the 7-0 is out of his line of sight. So then he could route back to B6.
Nope.
Well, it was in the line of sight at the beginning, so he still remembers that's there.
I thought you're meaning like a subsequent turn. Okay.
No. He starts to route. He can go anywhere he wants to, right? So pretty much he's going to end up in the wheat field. If let's say we're going to route, we're going to end up in the wheat field, right? We don't know where. Okay. Maybe the Germans he's got a stash of bratwurst and W9. We don't know, but he starts to move to the wheat field. He enters this location. What changes his route? Remember what we just talked about for an hour.
Suddenly you can see the 9-2.
9-2 is in LOS. Let's check that. Make sure the hindrances don't screw him up.
Yeah.
He only hits 3 hindrances. Now he can't even go to the V row. He has to continue going straight south. And that's all he can do if he wants to route.
Okay. Yep.
So even though you're doing shit over here, this unit cannot route back.
Oh, yeah. That's an interesting point. Yep.
So he still has value. And then the final game we'll try to burn this. This one is much shorter in terms of maybe. Yep. Rally phase. Okay. Rally phase, German turn 1. Let's look at the game situation. I'm not going to worry about the right-hand side. The left-hand side I want you to take a look at. And tell me opportunities for the German player in this turn. Turn 1, German player, opportunities on the left-hand side.
In the rally phase or
No,
in
during
general?
the turn. I don't want to get to the because it doesn't occur. I just want to see what opportunities does the German have to give him a slight edge. Good edge, slight edge, great edge, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. What do you see that the German player can do to screw the Americans? And with what?
Well, one thing, I mean,
It doesn't have to do with the prep fire phase. No prep fire.
No prep fire. I mean, the 8-0 leader could go to J1.
Is that safe for him to do so?
I don't.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he can go to I3 J2, J2 J1.
Right. He can make it there. Right. Absolutely. Make it there.
Yep.
Route phase. This guy dies. 100% of the time. 100% of the time, this guy's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have 3 squads to screw with. This guy's not sticking around. I ain't facing that shit. So
Right.
I don't care what he does. But this is the opportunity we want to look at, gentlemen. We want to look at this opportunity. Do we move the squad up there? Probably not. We want to move the leader up there. Why? Why do we not want to move the squad up there?
Well, I mean, the squad will
Put
just
him out of
take.
position.
What was that? Scott?
Go ahead, whoever was going to say anything.
It just that it pulls him out of position. I think for the other guys that are coming down.
Correct. He goes here to do this. What do these guys need to do for him? They need to cover him. Because what can this 7-0 and 7-4-7 do? This guy's not sticking around. If he stays there, he's getting a 9-2 up the ass. This is not going to be pretty. This is going to be a broken unit. A lot of times. What can this guy try to do if these guys move down like this to cover this wall? What do these guys do? Or one of them, or the 7-4-7. He's going to blast. He's going to move adjacent to draw the fire. It doesn't matter whether he breaks or not. If he breaks, he's just going to route up here. 9-2 is going to jump on him, or he's going to route 2, 4, 6. Right? If he breaks here, he moves further than he could normally move. He breaks here, 2, 4. Of course, it switches 6. 9-2 just advances after he fires on this guy and breaks him. But these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, close combat, he dies. You don't want that to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Scott was saying, okay, this should not be selecting them all. I do not have it selected to click on the whole thing. So he still wants to keep these guys here in a good defensible position. He might want to move up here in that sort of situation here, because this guy still covers this hex, right? There's a little bit less coverage from this guy. You actually might want to do something like this. So there's 6 firepower on here, down here, because this guy, I mean, they're right here. He might go 2, 4, 6, 8. I mean, that's a viable move. There's no problem with that move.
Yeah, I might also be okay with this squad going up here to close combat a leader on his second turn. If he wants to put a squad right back at his starting point at the end of his second turn, I think I'd be okay with that.
Right, but we don't, as the Germans, we don't want to lose our rally capabilities right here. Because if these guys move here, they're covering now G1 through G7. If they were to move here, they can only cover these 4 hexes. So this gives them a stronger breath. It still protects these guys. You say, hey, Stu, they're just going to run past them. Do we give a shit? Do we give a shit? He's going to be here. Let's say he's going to be here, and these guys ignore him. This guy doesn't even break. You know, this guy just goes 2, 3, 4, advance. Something like that. This is just hypothetical, right? He's just moving down to kind of come over here. And these guys just kind of do their due diligence, and they kind of move through this direction. Actually, this guy's back over here. So he's a 2, 4, 6, or 2, 4, 5, you know, whatever. He's not going very far because he's a leader. So they're making their way down here, right? 3 squads. Look at the position now that the Americans are in. He's right between these guys. The Americans are in a precarious position right here. Because this guy is going to go where? Probably R7. Or he might, depending on what happens on the right-hand side, let's just say he's going to be preoccupied over here. We're going to discount that son of a bitch. Let's say the Americans move past us. Again, the same situation with this guy over here. If this guy's behind him, is that a problem?
Not something I like. Yeah, I mean now, but as I said, whereas before you had a broken 4-3-6, maybe not. Now you have an unbroken 4-6-7. Now I'd be much more concerned.
Right, but is this guy going to run up in front of him and get past him? No way, it's not going to happen.
No.
I don't care what day of the week you're looking at. I don't care what fantasy land you're looking at. That he's not getting past him. He's behind him. What about these guys? You split your leader. This guy's dead. German turn 2 movement phase. Let's say the Americans. Jesus, let's say 2, 4, 6 advance. This is where and the stacking is still a problem in this thing. I'm not sure what the deal is. So the Americans are here at the end of their turn 2. Axis turn 2 comes. Are these guys out of position?
Not really.
No.
No.
You ceded a little bit of room here. You may have, you've got a shot here. Are you going to take that shot? Probably not. Because it may not affect them. You could do that if you wanted to. You're going to take a 6+1 backwards. Do we want to do that? We don't have a -1 leader over here, but we need to get our leader back into play. So we could just go 1, 2, 3, and then advance. Well, we're still covering some room down here. He's going to go 1, 2, 3. He could advance. He's got now coverage to here. He's got a shot here. He's got a shot here. The Americans aren't getting an L7, but he's got a little coverage up in the open. And they're covering the building over here, and the leader can come join them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, didn't you just? The Americans would have moved up by now, right? Before they had the chance to do that.
This is where the Americans are.
That was about where
This is American turn 2. This is German turn 2.
Okay.
Right, because German turn 1, these guys move up here, and the 8-0 moves up here. German turn 2, they move and advance back, and move, and the leader's back over here. This is German turn 2. And this guy is here. He's probably going to be he's going to be out of harm's way. He's going to wait for a time to strike. If he comes and reacts, that's fine. Guess what? 1 more hex. If he breaks, he goes back. And in one turn or 2, he's back up. 7 morale.
If he doesn't.
We don't care. And then these guys advance after they break. And he goes, and look what happened here. We have 3 squads over here. Do we really need to do a lot of damage? We're 3-3. Now, obviously, we're all split up, but pretty much he's got woods. A 6 even, 6+1. You take that. We saw what happened in all the other games, gentlemen. Half the Americans, when they came down here, half of them were broken in every single game. Yeah. So if 2 of these squads break and a 7-0, let's say the 9-2 gets screwed. What happens then? What happens in this situation for the Germans? And this guy comes back. Now you counterattack the son of a bitch. Now you kill all these guys. Or at least kill the leaders. And that eliminating this unit, remember, if you don't eliminate him, what's going to happen in German turn or American turn 2? What's going to happen in this unit?
Yeah. He almost certainly rallies.
He rallies 100% of the time.
Well,
and now he's behind you. He's behind you just like we're behind him. Our 4-6-7's behind him over here. Now he's behind us on this side. One little move that you can cover. I don't want to throw my leader away. I don't want to move my guys down here. Okay, this is the caveat. And then have the 7-0 come up and jump this guy in close combat and kill him for free. Now again, he's still behind him. And this is really pissing me off that it's picking that, Now our 7-0 behind him, now these guys are screwed. Now if these guys break, it's all over. So just to see how the dynamic changes of the gameplay, you got a guy, this guy's gone. First of all, anytime you lose a guy for not getting shot at, the bullshit route elimination, everyone gets pissed. I don't care who you are. Nobody likes losing a guy for failure to route. Nobody. So that's going to put him on edge a little bit. 8-0's protected. You're a good guy. And then you've got broke a guy over here. Who cares? Or he's just kind of snaking his way through. Now the American only has, you've eliminated 25% of the American force on this side. You break 2 guys, he has 1 squad left. You can almost charge him at that point. You could almost charge him. I probably still wouldn't. He still has to move. But at that point, you can almost ignore this guy for all intents and purposes. This guy could then move up over this way, and these guys could chase down the broken units and kill them. Or this guy and one of these guys can chase them down, and this guy could just simply sit here all freaking day. Sit here with the 8-0, covering the open ground. Move over here. If he gets too close, you know, we skulk and go back. If he fires, he's not moving. You know, 6+1, still don't like the 6+1. I gotta be honest with you, gentlemen. Stay out of range if you can. You know, but 6+1 is 6+1. I definitely wouldn't want to prep fire on him. This is not happening. Your 6+3 is not happening ever. Skulk back. Either give him that shot so he doesn't do anything, so these guys can kill this guy, and then guess what? Then they move, because now these guys are stagnant. And then you can react. You could either just pin him down, and then he can just move over here and prep for these guys, and these guys can just sit and pin him down. If he goes in the wheat field, kind of takes cover. He's still got covered. The Americans are strong on the right. Anymore. You've got a 10-2. He's not breaking. You got 7-4-7s. You got smoke. You can cover the open ground, and you've got this wheat field that you're going to jump into most of the time, either there or jumping through here, because this guy is coming back here. So you have one squad stopping 5 guys. Over the left-hand side, what do we have? If we eliminate this unit here early, we have 3 squads versus 3. Is that better than 1v5? Yeah. Hell yeah.
I think so.
Hell yeah. This guy's got a 10-2 instead of a 9-2, an 8-0, which is better than 7-0. Everything's so much better. Everything's so much greener on this side of the yard. You know, your 9-1, once these Americans get in these buildings, the 9-1 has to leave. He will die. He just has to skulk, leave, or something. He can't generate enough firepower to break all those units. It's bad. Yeah. If the Americans get there, it's bad.
They ended up coming down the Z7 line of buildings, but yeah, mostly. But yeah.
So this one little thing up here, especially when you know the Americans are pressing hard and fast. Let's say the 8-1 and these 2 guys over here that I just kind of moved. If they break on the first turn, which in pretty much all the other games, the Germans were busted up pretty quickly over there, right? So if they broke on the first turn, then this is something you really need to look at in your sort of games. Like, what can I do? I'm desperate. I'm losing the right-hand side. What can I do to give me an advantage on the left-hand side so I just don't collapse into oblivion? You know, eliminating 1 squad is a start. And we could do it safely. This is pretty much a free one. Sometimes they're not free. Remember, the German unit routing through here? What do the Americans do? They took the free kill. It's exactly the same as this one up here, except for you're on the defender side. You get the free kill. Take the free kill when it's there. It's there here. It's there here. Look for it. Look for it, gentlemen. Again, if you want to route over here, even if he moves there, that's not a free kill. Even if he moves here, it's not a free kill. You can just route this way. He has to take 2 units to get the free kill. That's fine. We did our job. We delayed him. We delayed him by 1 or 2 hexes. Sometimes it's all that matters, especially you guys know on the right-hand side, where these guys, if these guys are moving alone and they're stuck in here on turn 5, they're not getting off. Pretty much 5 or 6. So look for those little things. Broken guy. Look at him. Say, can I get to him? Can I make sure that he's at least DM? If I can't get to this guy, right? If I can't get to that guy, can I move a guy up here to fire on him? And, you know, or something? Can I get an LOS? Even long range. Can I get some, you know, it's pretty tight up there. Let's say there's some bullshit LOS like from like this location, right? Let's say he was right here. Can I get some bullshit LOS to at least DM him 1 more turn for at least during his rally phase? We don't care about our rally phase because he can't rally. But his rally, he's coming up on turn 2. Yeah. So can we just get a stupid DM on him? If we can't kill him, can we slow him? Slow him up that 1 little bit, and then we move backwards. Then he starts moving on turn 3. And then we come into the marks fucked in K2 situation, where he's on turn 3 and he's just right here. That's fine. We're ahead of the game. But if he's here on turn 3, he's ahead of the game. That's all. That's the only difference. That's the only difference that extra rally that DM will make, is those three hexes. Big difference. Now, what's the problem here? Is there a problem here? Do we see a problem? I mean, we're defending stone building. We got it. We got it made. What's the problem here? What's on the American firepower?
Oh, well, I mean,
He's smoking. He could smoke and get across that road easily. CX, drop 1 or 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 6 movement factors. He gets across the road. 8 plus 2. You're not assault moving here. 8 minus 1 or 8 plus 2. Which one do you want, gentlemen?
mm-hmm.
If you make it here, you win close combat most of the time. 1 to 2 versus 3 to 2. Americans have the advantage in this situation.
Maybe down 1 or an up 1 for CX, but
but at that point it's even. At that point it's even for one phase.
I mean, it's definitely worth it to tie up that defender.
And yeah, he's tied up. He can't shoot down this little bullshit LOS that you're going to be moving through, right? Our guys are coming hard and fast. We're going to L8 like we covered before. Hey, we want to cover L8. That son of a bitch is covering L8 to K10. And if he's got if it's this unit here, let's say it's give him the better unit. Let's say that these guys are over here. Let's say it's the 467 with the LMG. Is he covering those hexes? Damn well he is. He's covering all full firepower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 minus 2.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys you know that are going to be moving to K10 with 2 squads? Or 1 squad and a leader? 9 minus 2 comes in here. Guess what?
Sure, yeah. Boom.
You just shoved it right up his yin yang. That's a 6 minus 2. And then he's going to break.
Yeah.
And then guess what? What's he going to do? This little bastard over here.
Yeah. Then well, yeah.
Right. Right?
Yeah.
He's here, but he's here by turn 3. He routes here, and that's all the further he can route. And then guess what? These guys have to scramble to defend against him because where's he going? He's going right there. So get him on here. Yeah, you'll be even on that first round, just as Scott said. You'll be 1 to 1, or he'll be 1 to 2 minus 1. You'll be 3 to 2 plus 1. Both of you need 5s. That's just like you're both 4-5. Next round, German turn, close combat phase. You're 3 to 2. He's 1 to 2. You need a 6. He needs a 4. Guess who wins that most of the time? Okay. Little things like that. Keep him at bay. One more turn of DMing him gets him here on turn 4 instead of turn 3. Then this guy can decide what he wants to do. He can abandon that, do whatever. Maybe something else is happening. It gives you options. But being surrounded and getting crushed, having your guys coming down and closing in on you, limits your options. Keep your options available. Mark D, K2. Does he need to move from there? Can he get across? He could risk it, but he serves the purpose of cutting route paths. If you can't do anything else, 227, 226 half squad conscript. He can't do shit, but he can kill people for failure to route. He can stop them from routing where they want to route.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do with those guys. A 226 isn't going to do anything. It's a 747 in a stone building, or a 236 for that matter. But the 236 is in J1, and let's say we move over here, right? Is he going to fire at him, or is he going to fire at him?
Yeah.
He's going to fire across the street. Almost nobody will fire at him. And if he does break him, does it matter? If this guy breaks him, he still can't route backwards because broken units still restrict your routing options. He can't route at all. So if you prep fire on this guy, and then you have your 8-0, let's say go from like he could technically route here. Let's say your 8-0 makes it over here. He dies for this broken 236 out here. He dies. Like, of course, you have to get a result, but that's what we're looking at. Especially your 8-0, your leader 7-0, 6+1s. Man, you want to put those guys in sweet spots that you can come behind some guys CXing and really make it a bad day for them. Look for those opportunities. They're not going to be there all the time. So when they show up, You have to have your guys ready to pounce. Your 6+1s especially. If you're 7-0 leader, this guy ELRs. You know, where's that stupid ELR? ELR. He's a shithead, right? This guy's having a bad day. This guy first day playing ASL against Steve Pleva. You know, that's who this guy is. So he is. Everyone laughs at 6+1s. Very strong units for route path restrictions. Give this guy an ATR. I don't think you have ATRs in here, but even LMG +1 doesn't matter. Two leaders banning that full firepower +1 doesn't come into play. It's ignored. You know,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
6+1 still gives people 2 movement factors. You're still busting ass. You're still CXing guys. And 6+1, is he going to fire on him? If he's surrounding me, it's easier to break him, of course. But most guys won't. Most guys will ignore them. Even you put him right here, he can't route. He's in stone building. He can't route. Dies. This guy kills more people than probably anybody else. Given the average situations, because he has 8 movement factors to move. These guys only have 6. These guys have 8. These guys are going to draw more firepower when you're moving them to surround people. The leaders might not, unless your opponent knows the strength of them. This guy can eliminate these units if they break. This guy. Not this guy. This guy. In the same situation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This guy's not getting there. He's getting there. If he breaks and prep fire, they're dead. That's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
So questions and comments of any of this crap that we've already covered. Scott, you had a routing thing, right?
Let's say Russian turn,
Right.
route phase. So let's say the Russians decide to keep that unit there. They not route their unit. And so the question is, what the options are for this guy under a couple different situations.
Right.
So starting here with this setup, what the question is, this kind of rhetorical questions for people to consider.
Yeah,
what does this guy have to route? Question 1. So anyone who wants to chime in.
Does he have
Yes,
to route?
he does. He's in open ground and line of sight.
Okay. Yep. So
In normal range.
which unit specifically is making him route?
M7.
Yep. Okay. So this guy. Yep. So yep. Exactly. So this guy here, means that he has to route. So where can he route to, if anywhere?
First blush, I don't think he's got a route. I think it's FTR. He's gone.
What do you guys think, Mark? Steve?
Let me see. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Take a minute to look at the.
Yeah. So it does appear as if right now he can see all 4 units. So
Well,
yeah.
there's 4 hexes that he obviously can't route to, right? He can't go to anywhere adjacent to the Russian units. So that leaves J6
Right.
and K7. So you're only looking at J6 and K7.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Those are the only 2 that you even have a possibility to. So, the problem with K7 is he is moving closer to the broken unit in I8. So
Yep.
So he cannot.
That's what I saw.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now J6. Yeah. I mean J6. He can route at least 2 J6. But that is not.
Why is that? What's the difference between J6 and
Oh,
K7?
no, wait, no, J6. No, wait a minute. No, he'd be getting closer.
Getting closer.
It'd
Yeah.
still be getting closer. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So,
Okay.
so he has to route, but he has no legal route square.
Right. So so we all agree that in this situation he's eliminated,
For failure to route, correct.
right?
Because he can't
And the
remain
important point here, so we had a couple times in this game where I was playing against the pretty experienced players, but there was some discussion about the differences between what a broken unit and a good order unit and a concealed unit, et cetera, does in terms of slowing down your route paths. And so he wasn't convinced that the broken unit would stop him from routing here, but he does. You can't route closer to the broken unit. So in this case, yeah, he's eliminated for failure to route. Now, simple change to that would be say like that. Now what happens?
Well, now what's interesting, as you said, now he is not required to route because nobody can interdict him.
Right.
The CX unit can't because he's +1. The 628 can't because he's got the orchard. And obviously the broken unit can't interdict. And now the 458 can't interdict because he's got +2.
Can the CX unit interdict?
The CX unit can no, the CX unit cannot interdict because he has a +1 DRM.
Does
So
that nullify the first fire move in the open?
It does not, but that is not. So this is a subtle point that this game was like a treasure trove for like route stuff. So the restriction on interdiction is a little stricter than just not having an FFMO shot. So if let's say this guy was not broken and he moved into here, would the CX guy get an FFMO shot on him?
Yep.
Yes, right? He would, but that does not mean that he can interdict him. The requirement for interdiction is FFMO not being in open ground. So an FFMO would disallow interdiction, but in that case, that's not what's happening. But also, any positive DRM disallows interdiction. So like changing your turret covered arc, 1, wouldn't disallow FFMO, but does disallow interdiction. Same with CX, et cetera. I don't know. Again, this is all based on a pretty careful reading of the full rules. So the interdiction rules.
Right.
It's just after the open ground part. It's 10.532 in full ASL.
Right.
And so again, this part I'm not 100% sure if this is the case in starter kit or not. I think the next part I wanted, the main part I wanted to talk about, which I found the most interesting. So that was one thing that was a subtle difference, is that it's not just the open ground, but the interdiction, having a positive DRM is going to stop interdiction. So this guy could just stay there in that case.
Right.
So then let me think of the final. Okay, so the final example, which I thought was the most interesting one, is this.
Okay.
So what happens now? So does he have to route?
Is the smoke still there?
Let's say the smoke is there. Let's start with that. Let's say that. So does he have to route now?
What do you guys think?
No consensus.
I
No.
say no, because he is not right. He is not required to route due to the adjacent unit because the adjacent unit is broken.
Correct.
Right. So he does not currently have to route. Now let's say does he have to route?
He dies.
Yes.
Okay. And does he have a legal route path?
Oh, now the question is can he go to J6 now?
Nope.
Right.
I don't believe you can, because I think the rules state you can't go you can't move from being adjacent to a unit to adjacent to the same unit again.
Correct.
Exactly.
Its status
And that
is irrelevant.
is even, and that is whether or not it's good order, as long as it's an armed enemy unit.
Right.
Correct.
It's not unbroken. So he can't go to here. You can't move adjacent if you're, already, if you're moving adjacent to a unit that you were started adjacent to. Okay, so final quiz, final question.
Quiz show.
Here.
Okay.
Now we're here.
Right.
Does he have to route?
He has to route.
Yes.
Okay. Can he route? And if so, to where?
Okay, so at this point, now he has to choose. All right, so now in theory, he has to choose a route.
He can low crawl to J6. He doesn't have line of sight to the broken unit in H7.
Right. Yeah. So he
Yeah.
could choose. He could say, "I want to route to I7." Okay, I7 is my route destination, and he could low crawl to J6. He could.
Let's
would
also let's just to simplify it. Let's put this guy here.
Yeah.
just to make just to eliminate K7 as a
Yeah.
as the possible
Yeah,
option.
exactly.
Just to make it a little simpler.
Why would you guys low crawl to J6?
Yeah,
You could
low crawl J6.
You could low crawl.
That you could low crawl to J6. Could you do anything else
You could go
in
to
this
I7.
this new situation?
You can go
No.
to I7.
Yeah, go to I7. Yeah.
Okay, so you obviously can't see him.
Correct.
So you go to I7, and then can you stay there?
Yep.
You can stay
Yes,
there, but
you
right.
can.
Yep.
He's not
Yes.
forced to route any further. Right. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Good. A+ for everyone.
Yeah, you just can't move on. And I'm,
Um,
and I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you
What's-
guys. ASL players know less about routing than you guys do.
100% agree. I mean, I've played in, I don't know, 15 tournament games over the last
Yeah, Scott's been
6
busting
weeks.
ass.
I've played in like 4 different tournaments at the same time, and this group, gets so into the details on the routing, and it's been super helpful for me, and I've been pretty amazed at the players that have been playing for 15, 20, 30 years.
They have
And
no clue. They have no freaking clue.
yeah, just even the basic stuff like choosing a route destination, the combination of like you have to choose your destination that's a legal destination, then you have to get there, but you don't have to necessarily take the shortest route, as long as you can still reach it, and all that stuff that and it's like going over it so often in such detail here is really
This is
really
what you
paid
see
off.
all the time right here. 100% of the time you see this, and it's honestly embarrassing. Situation here. Okay, you got an allied leader. The Germans and and the Americans are against the. I mean, I put him a German one. I don't be that goddamn lazy.
It's a mixed force.
I don't want to be that lazy.
Yeah. Just
Third World War going on.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, all right. So you've got Rommel. Okay.
Right. So you've got this situation here. All right. Where are 98% of your players going to route to? ASL players.
They're going to route to 10-3.
They're going to route to 10-3
Right.
98% of the time.
Yeah.
And that is the last place on probably his whole freaking map that he could route to.
Yeah.
He's going here, and probably even over here before he even gets over here. Depending on how many people can change his route paths. That's 4 MF. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the same distance. You will see this all the time. ASL players honestly don't know how to route. They just don't, gentlemen. We've been covering this
And
for
it's
3
not.
months.
I mean, it's understandable because there's some very interesting subtleties in the way the rules are written, where it's like, you can't route an unbroken unit. I think, for instance, this idea that I can't move from here to here, because of this broken unit,
Right.
is a subtle difference that is not. That when a broken unit can and can't affect your route, and the fact that I can end my route phase next to this broken unit, no problem,
Right.
or even just stay there.
Right.
But if I want to route, I'm not allowed to route next to him.
Correct.
That is counterintuitive to me. But
Well, at that point,
gotta.
At that point, it's like a different rule, right? The rule says you can end your route adjacent to a broken unit, but the rule where when the routing rules, you may not route adjacent to an enemy unit, an armed enemy unit.
Armed enemy.
He's
Yep.
still an armed enemy unit. Doesn't say unbroken.
Right. Right.
And so that's where you have to read the rules, not infer the rules.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and all the those subtle differences between, good order, and then you throw concealment in there, and that's a whole other can
Yeah.
of worms. But
Yeah.
but yeah, the thing the way I started finally kind of remembering that without having to read it every time it came up was that it's basically the same reason that you can't get closer to this broken unit, also comes into play when you're moving adjacent to him.
Right.
Same kind of effects. You know about him, whereas here you don't know he's there, so you can get closer to him and then just stay there.
Right.
But
Right.
anyway, I thought that was interesting. I just wanted to reiterate, we've heard it from Stu quite a few times, but it
Every
really
time.
came
Every
home
time.
to me on this last game when I was like, nope, can't. And it ended up having a pretty significant effect on the game. And in this particular game, it caused a surrender, which wiped out his last kind of hanging out troops. He thought he could rout them away, but they needed to surrender. So
Right.
so
Right.
it
And that's
was,
that's another
important.
thing is all that little stuff comes in play, guys. I like to say, you think I'm trying to boost you guys up and thinking that you guys are great and this, that, and the other. You guys are. You guys, I mean, Scott's living proof of it. He played every freaking tournament on the planet in the last 2 months. He has played in every single tournament on the planet in the last 2 months. It's been online. And 15 guys, 15 different guys, most likely. And he sees the difference. He knows the difference. We all don't. We all don't want to.
And you don't even you probably don't want to, because you shoot at him and you're going to heat a battle him, and then he's going to go berserk on you.
That's right. So
you just let him surrender.
Yeah. So killing units.
But that's
yeah. Killing units from failure to rout or other bad things like that in ASL is even more important, which is really odd. It's more important to get those free kills in ASL than in SK, because you could fire on them all day in SK. You're not going to get any snipers. In ASL, people abhor firing on units to get snipers. They think snipers are like atom bombs. And they only remember the time where that 10-3 leader right in the middle gets shot by a sniper. They don't remember all the times that the opponent's rolls shit. But,
right.
And the funny thing is, because it's so much more important to eliminate these free units in ASL than it is in SK, you'd think the players would be able to master the route rules, which occur every player turn.
Mm-hmm.
Every player turn. If they're the snow rules, deep snow, I don't know shit about deep snow. I just did a replay analysis of Dead of Winter. I couldn't tell you what the deep snow rules are practically. I'd have to read it again because I don't play it every single game. I'd have to read it again, and that's what you just do. You just read them as the game comes up. You have little notes on the side, whether you're face-to-face, you write little notes, or you just have that page open. But routing, there's no excuse. I gotta be honest with you. That's why I try to hammer it down on you guys. And when I see some players, and myself included, mind you, I do make routing mistakes myself, but far fewer now than once we started. Far fewer now. And not only am I seeing route paths for my guys, I'm using it as an offensive weapon against my opponents. So it's not just route to safety rally. It's, okay, he's got a route there, a rally there. I'm going to use it as an offensive weapon against him. That's where most of these players don't. Like the players that Scott was saying, like they're just kind of like routing next to broken units, and he's broken, I don't care, I route right to him, I'll keep going, whatever. Those guys, first of all, they're not getting the defensive routing down. You think they're getting the offensive routing down? No, they're just not. They're not even there. They're not even close to that point. I gotta be honest with you. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Vaseline and Stew on Tactical Tuesday. That ends the Game of the Month replay analysis of Ad Hoc et Chef Dupont. We had a lot of great players, a lot of great moves, a lot of great examples that we can learn from. Take that, replay your logs, look at your logs, analyze only your route paths. Only your route paths. That's my challenge to you. Look at nothing else. I don't care what your fire charts are. I don't care how you move. I don't give a... Well, I do. Look at your route paths. Start with your route first. Okay, not your movement. Start with your route first. You must start at the base level. Start at route. figure out what's happening with your route. Can you route better? Can you route in a safer spot? Can you route shorter? Can you stay there? Can you route forward? Right? We covered all that in the past 3, 4, 5, 6 months on Tactical Tuesday. All of that. These guys are great routers. They're great players, and they're doing very well, and we're all learning all the time. You don't stop learning this game, period. All right? So take that. You like it. Feel free to support the channel, either direct PayPal or you can go to Patreon. I'm going to be putting some exclusive Patreon content up there for your enjoyment. You can look into that. We'll see where that goes. But anyway, give feedback. Give your comments down below. No comments means no one cares about anything. So comments down below so we can change things which you like, change things which you don't like, or maybe go in a different direction. Maybe you want to go do something else instead of Tactical Tuesday. We can look at other concepts. We are only a few minds here. Throw your thoughts down below, and that might spark some sort of general interest or conversation into something that you enjoy. All right? Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week on Tactical Tuesday.